In this video, we're going to talk about how to multiply binomials and trinomials. It's a very important concept, number one. To multiply polynomials, you need to distribute all terms in the first parentheses with the terms in the second. Very important concept, number two. A method to multiply binomials is called FOIL, where F stands for first, O stands for outer, I stands for inner, and L stands for last. Okay, so let's look at this. We can FOIL or we can simply simplify. So let's say we have 2x plus 3 times x plus 4. So if we broke it up and we did 2x times x plus 4 and 3 times x plus 4, we would multiply the 2x times x and the 2x times 4. And then we would multiply 3 times x and 3 times 4. In other words, we're distributing it to everything inside. So after we do this first one, 2x times x, we get 2x squared. 2x times 4, we get 8x. Plus, we get 3 times x, or 3x. 3 times 4, we get 12. Then we combine our like terms, so our 8x and our 3x, which gives us 11x. Our answer is going to be 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Or we can use the FOIL method, which is my preferred method. We do first 2x plus x. Remember, this is what we're multiplying. Alright, so we do first. So we do 2x times x. Then we do the outer. 2x times 4. Then we do the inner. 3 times x. Then we do the last. 3 times 4. So when we multiply those, we get 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 12. Combine your like terms. 8x plus 3x, which is 11x. Put it all together. 2x squared plus 8x plus 3x, or 11x, plus 12. That is the FOIL method. First, outer, inner, last. Let's do some more. I'm sticking with FOIL. If you think the other way is easier, go ahead. Let's multiply. X minus 7 times x plus 9. FOIL. X times x. Those are your first two things. X times x is x squared. Outer. X times 9, or 9x. Inner. Keep your minus with your 7. So negative 7 times x. So negative 7x, and then your last. Still, keep your negative with your 7. Negative 7 times 9 is negative 63. If you write it out, x squared plus 9x minus 7x minus 63. Combine your like terms. 9x minus 7x is 2x. What is your answer? X squared plus 2x minus 63. FOIL. Alright, let's look at another one. I added an extra term here, but that does not change how you solve it. FOIL will still work. First, 2y times y. 2y squared. Outer, 2y times negative 3. Negative 6y. Inner, y times 5, or 5 times y. 5y. Last, 5 times negative 3. Negative 15. Combine your like terms. Negative 6y plus 5y equals negative y. What do we get? 2y squared. Add these together, so minus y minus 15. FOILed it again. Alright, one more. First, 5y times y. I went the other way, but that's okay because of the commutative property. 5y squared. Negative 8 times y gives you negative 8y. 5y times 4, 20y. Negative 8 times 4, negative 32. Combine your like terms. What do we get? 5y squared plus 12y minus 32. FOIL works every time. Woo! So then we have some special cases can remember, you can still FOIL, but you can kind of remember these and it eliminates a little bit of work. The first one is what happens if we have a plus b squared. Or what are we doing? A plus b times a plus b. Well, your answer is always going to come out to be a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. For example, if we have x plus 4 squared. If we wrote that out the long way, we're saying x plus 4 times x plus 4. So here's our answer. Remember, I said that your answer would be a squared plus 2 times a times b plus b squared. Well, here's our beginning. Here's a squared, or x squared. And if you look at the end, b squared, so 4 squared. And then in the middle, if this is your, if x is your a value, and b value is 4, if I said 2 times 4 times x, you would have 8x. So I did, this is a squared plus 2 times 4 times x plus b squared. Came out right there. So you can actually eliminate having to do FOIL there, or just go back and FOIL it. It would work out the same way. If I did my first, outer, inner, last, I would have gotten x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. Here's another special case, a minus b squared, which is the same as saying a minus b times a minus b. This one works out to be a squared minus 2 times a times b plus b squared. So same thing as up here, only instead of being a plus here, it's a minus. We still have a plus at the end. Why is that? Because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So here's an example, b minus 5 squared. So here we would have our b squared minus 2 times 5 times b minus 5, or plus, excuse me, squared, which comes out to be b squared minus 10b plus 25. And of course, if this special case is not making sense in your brain, you can always FOIL it. Okay, there is one more special case, and this is the really easy one, I think. A plus b times a minus b works out to be a squared minus b squared. Well, why is that? Here's why. Let's say we had x minus 4 times x plus 4. Well, watch what happens when we actually FOIL it. We would get x squared when we did our first terms. When we do our outer terms, we get plus 4x. When we do the inner terms, we get minus 4x. When we do the last terms, we get minus 16. So our outer and inner, in other words, our O and our I, cancel each other out so that we just have F minus L. And it's going to happen every time you have A plus B, A minus B, so that it just ends up becoming this. This works every single time. Your O and your I will cancel each other out, leaving you with this. It also becomes something called the difference of squares, but you don't have to worry about that until Math 2. So these are our 3 special case problems where you don't have to go through all the steps of FOIL unless you just want to, and they will become very obvious the more you do them. Alright, what if we have a trinomial and a binomial? FOIL doesn't work quite as nicely with those. You actually have to use your distributive property, and there's 2 methods. We can do a vertical method, which if you look, and we'll walk through this step by step, it looks a lot like it did when you used to multiply decimals. Or you can do a horizontal method. Both ways work, it's just kind of personal preference. We're going to look more at the vertical method today, because you already know how to line things up from all those days of multiplying decimals. So here, I'm going to do 4x squared plus x minus 6 times 2x minus 3. So if we can cover all this up, first we're going to multiply by negative 3, just like you've done with long case multiplication forever. So I'm going to do negative 3 times 6 and get a positive 18. Negative 3 times x to get negative 3x. Negative 3 times 4x squared to get negative 12x squared. So in this row, everything was multiplied by negative 3. Then look what I did. I put a placeholder of 0. Absolutely nothing is new in this situation. Now I'm going to multiply everything by 2x. So 2x times negative 6 gives me negative 12x. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2x times 4x squared gives me 8x to the third. And I'm going to write my plus sign, just like you've always done. Now, combine everything. So I get plus 18, negative 15x, negative 10x squared, and 8x cubed. Plain old long multiplication. Now, I can also do it horizontally, where I have to take and distribute 2x to all three of these terms, and distribute negative 3 to all three of these terms. As you can see, here's my distribution. 2x distributed to all three terms. Here's my negative 3 distributed to all three terms. Here's where I've worked it out. And then at the end, I combined like terms. I got the same answer in both problems. This gets kind of ugly, and there's a lot of room for error. So if I were you, I would stick with this, but you can go either way. Let's practice multiplying a few more trinomials and binomials. But first, we're going to do some more special case. So here we have 5p minus q squared. This is special case, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So look, I'm going to do 5p squared minus 2 times 5p times q plus q squared. So here we go. 25p squared minus 10pq, because of that 2p, 5pq, plus q squared. There's my answer. I didn't even have to FOIL it. Okay, so what about this one? X plus 3y squared. Again, special case. So it's going to be x squared plus 2 times x times 3y, so it becomes 6xy plus 9y squared. And here's our third special case. 3y plus 5w times 3y minus 5w. So 3y squared comes out to be 9y squared minus 5w squared is 25w squared. Okay, so now here's some trinomials and binomials. So if I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 times 9x minus 3. Get a little crooked, but if I do negative 3 times everything, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 2x is 6x, negative 6x. Negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Here's my placeholder. I want to make sure I'm putting that plus 0, although it doesn't matter. Now, 9x times 1 is 9x. 9x times 2x is plus 18x squared. 9x times x squared is, whoops, this should be 9x cubed. This should also be 9x cubed. And now I combine. 3, or negative 3, negative 6x plus 9x is 3x. Negative 3x squared plus 18x squared is going to give me 15x squared. And this 9x cubed just comes down. So let's do one more. And I've got to line this one up. So I'm going to have 6q squared plus q plus 1 times 8q minus 4. Alright, so start by multiplying everything times negative 4. So we'll have negative 4 and negative 4q. And this will become negative 24q squared. Okay, I'm going to bring down a plus 0 to hold my place. Now, 8q times 1 is going to give me plus 8q. 8q times q gives me a plus 8q squared. And then 8q times 6 squared gives me a 24q squared. And this is 24, make that a little more clear. So now all I have to do is combine all my like terms, which are lined up so nicely. So minus 4, negative 4 and 8 gives me 4q, plus 4q. 24q squared, or negative 24q squared plus 8, this will be negative 16q squared. And then I could just bring down, keep doing this, this is cubed, my 24q So you should have, to read this back to you, 24q cubed minus 16q squared plus 4q minus 4. And this is how you multiply trinomials and binomials.